We are live on YouTube with absolutely nobody watching, but I don't have to save this to my computer this way. There's everybody.
You record me too?
YouTube. Okay, well.
What if we all just memorize each other's slides and this
A little bit. Okay. I've just been told that our clock is slightly slow. So, welcome to the Pinal Geology and Mineral Museum and the Pinal Geology and Mineral Society and Museum meeting for whatever month this is, November 2022. If you have not received a door prize ticket yet, please see the lady standing back there waving at you. Or wave her over or something. If you have, good for you. If you're under 18, we need to get you a special ticket, so please let us know that. And let's see. Hello. We have in the back there, on the back table there, a silent auction. Please participate in that. When we have a break, I'm going to set up a break. Kelly doesn't know about it yet, but I'll put it on a break. We have, unless she says, no, please don't. We have refreshments on the back table over there, if you weren't here a few minutes ago, as well as drinks, either in the cooler or we have hot beverages over here on the auction table. There's so much stuff I got to tell you that I had to make notes this week. We could use some help. You help in several ways, and any of it, if you're willing to help, we would really love to have you. Have your ideas. Some of them are just ideas, some of them are actual bodies. We could use some volunteers on Saturdays through the end of the year. We're not open Christmas or New Year's Eve. It's not those two Saturdays. But until then, we've gotten busy on Saturdays, and Christine is manning the store, but she could use some other help. Sometimes it doesn't involve a lot of work. It could be just writing up a receipt, which Christine can show you. It could be, yeah, the mineral room's over there, the fossils are over there. Whatever your level of comfort is, we can train a bit. We mostly need bodies to make sure nobody walks out with a gold. Both pieces. Also, we could use a volunteer for refreshments for next month. The next meeting will be on December 21st. If you're in town, we could use a volunteer to be in charge of refreshments. You could see Christine or you could see me after the meeting, think about it. If you want to do either of those things, please let Christine know. Christine also has volunteer sign-up sheets. We just need some basic information for you to volunteer. We could also use speaker ideas. What do you guys want to see? Do you have a friend? Do you have an expertise? Do you have a friend with an expertise? Somewhere in mineralogy, gemology, lapidary, any of those things, we could use some ideas, at least of topics that you would like to see. So let me know about those, or info@pinalgeologymuseum.org. It's the email address on our website. Send that, and send ideas, volunteering, anything you'd like to send. No bomb threats, please. Death threats are okay, but not bomb. Yeah, we are closed Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve. And day, New Year's Day and Christmas Day. Those are a Saturday and Sunday, so we will be closed those. Giving Tuesday, you're going to hear a lot about it if you haven't already started already. I've started getting the pleas already at home in the mail. Giving Tuesday is the Tuesday after Thanksgiving. It's when you're all done with your shopping, you figure out what you have left, and you're asked to send it off to a charity. We're a charity. We are not signed up with the official Giving Tuesday or anything like that. It costs a lot of money to do that. So if you would like to donate to us, please, on our website, there's a donate button. You fill out a form. You can do it by credit card. Or you can drop by anytime. There's a donation jar over in the corner. Let's see. Right, our calendar coming up. Friday, November 25th, that's the day after Thanksgiving, Black Friday, is Rock Art Day here. We'll have some rocks and some art stuff, art supplies. You can do some rock art, some sand art, other things. Tell your young friends. November 26th, the day after that, Hohokam Village down here on North Arizona Boulevard, it's a trailer park, manufactured home park. They're having a craft fair from 8 to noon. We're going to be part of that. Come on down, see what we got, see what other people have. December 17th is finally the Dinosaurs in the Desert Zoo trip to the Phoenix Zoo. I will walk you around. You will all show up, buy your own tickets, and we'll meet at a place. I will give you further details in the newsletter coming out. Yes, there will be one. And I'll tell you where to meet, and I'll walk around with you. Dinosaurs are my specialty, so I can talk about them more than nobody. If I don't know something, I'll tell you I don't know something. So I haven't set the time yet. I just got the date this evening, but we're doing that. Rick, do you want to talk about other things about field trips and tell us about the October field trip?
Yes.
Rick Schilling, our vice president and field trip master.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome. Happy to see all of you. And so our trip that we took for the last month in October was over to a feldspar deposit that's just outside of Florence. And we get some really nice, fully terminated feldspars, and we'll hand these around so you guys can take a look at them. And they're different twins that you'll be able to see on these. And the feldspars that we find in this area have all of the twins plus some that are questionable whether they've actually been identified for the feldspars for the twinning that occurs in them. And you can find them loose like that, and you can find them in the matrix. They're in the decomposing granite. We had six people that were with us, and it was a really good trip. A couple of the ladies, young ladies right back here in the back joined us. What do you guys think?
We really liked it.
Everybody finds crystals. Everybody finds lots of stuff there. And they're as small as the grains of sand all the way up to the larger ones that are being passed around. And it just depends on your luck and looking that day. And I can tell you that all of these were found by Barbara, right there, my wife. She had a really good day that day and found some really nice ones. But I can tell you that everybody else also found some real nice ones. We also found some quartz crystals. And Ken, can you help me? What was the name of those quartz crystals?
It's high temperature quartz called beta quartz.
Beta quartz. So they're beta quartz crystals that are found there, and they're also the size from a grain of sand up to a very nice large marble size beta quartz crystals, and they're double terminated, real nice beta quartz. So that was a really good trip. We have multiple other trips that are planned for the year coming up, and as you join in with the museum and you register with us and you pay your dues, you will all be invited to come along with us. And the email that you sign up with your membership, thank you, couldn't come up with the word. Your membership, your email that you sign up will keep you posted of all the trips and stuff. We have trips coming up to the wagon tracks and up to the Apache Tears there in Superior. We're going to try to do a trip up to the asbestos area up in the Salt River Canyon. We're going to try to do some trips over to Relito. I know I'm saying that wrong. Over by Winkleman, there's a nice skarn up there, and also good copper mineralization that's found up in that area. And then multiple other locations that we're thinking about doing. I'd really like to do a trip with the museum down to Kartchner Caverns, just on the other side of Tucson. It's a dry cave system, but it's really nice system and really, really cool if you guys are into caves. And there's multiple other caves that are here in Arizona that you can go see, but Kartchner Caverns is a dry cave and one that would be really neat to see. Let me see, what else? Our museum, we have a sale coming up before Christmas, right? That we're gonna do. Are we doing a show before Christmas, Ken? Or have we set that up yet? Okay. That'll be something that we'll have to talk about and put together. But the field trips are a lot of fun. And then if any of you know of places to go to for field trips, we're always open for suggestions. Everybody comes with new knowledge and information, so if you're willing to share, we would be more than happy to do that. For access into these areas, sometimes four-wheel drive is required, and what we do is we try to get several people with four-wheel drives that give everybody else a ride. You just drive up with your vehicles to where you can, and then we all pile into the Jeeps and the trucks, and we get us the rest of the way. Okay, so there's no concern about, oh, I don't have a four-wheel drive, I can't go on your trip with you. Okay, so any questions? No. Did all of the minerals get passed around? Oh, there we go. Any questions or any thoughts on these? These are really nice ones, aren't they? Yep.
And those are the ones just kind of south of Florida?
Yep.
Did you take a bunch of us there, like, a few years back?
Yes, I have. I've taken many trips, many of us there.
Okay. Yeah, we'll find out.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah, think about the field trip. Rick's field trips are all members only. So if you're not a member, not a paid member, membership forms are somewhere around here. Ask if you don't have one. You can also sign up online. If you're a member, you'll get information on those field trips. The zoo trip is not members only. Zoo trip is open for everybody. You pay your way in. We just meet up, talk dinosaurs, enjoy the zoo.
Yay.
It's not his field trip, it's mine. I'm not nicer, you're gonna have to pay, so it's not, you'll have to pay them. Our December 21st speaker, next meeting, is Dr. Robert McCord, the curator of paleontology at the Arizona Natural History Museum. He will be down here, and I'm not sure what he's talking about yet. I haven't cornered him, but he will be down here. Tonight's speakers, we have several. Kelly Wakefield is Mesa Community College geology instructor. Is that your, okay. I came from California where a community college was 2 years and nobody had professors or doctorates or anything like that. Y'all guys are weird. No. But Kelly is going to introduce the individual speakers and will tell us about them and their interests so we can grab them and tell them what they're going to do as a volunteer here. Any questions on any of the society stuff that we've done? We did advertise some important society information. Unfortunately, our speaker on that had to go home with dental problems, so we will do that another night. So, yes.
Just for fun, the floor needs to be open for suggestions about anything that people would like to see us do, exhibits or whatever. Just,
Yeah.
feel free to make suggestions, and if we can accommodate it, we'll go ahead and do it. So-
Yeah, if you have suggestions, anytime you have suggestions, whether tonight, grab one of us, you can speak in, if you want to speak privately, grab either Ken, who is sitting in the middle back there, or Rick, who is sitting in the blue shirt, you've seen him, or me, or Christine, here, who's standing over here in the corner. Grab one of us if you want to speak privately. If you send it to by email to info@pinalgeologymuseum.org, it will come to me. You can address it to any of us. If I can answer or not, I will forward it to everybody else. So that if you have information about a speaker, if you have something you would like the museum to do, if you have a place that if you have a rock show that we should know about, so maybe we go put a table up somewhere. If you have a craft fair, maybe we can figure out how to attend that. Any suggestions, especially if it comes with an offer to volunteer, but not only, don't expect, don't fear that you say, you should go to this craft fair, and we say, great, when are you taking us? Don't expect that. We will not do that to you. We may say, can you take us? But we won't assume it. All right, so anybody want to say anything? Suggestions? Offers? Okay. And nobody's offering for refreshments next month? Okay. It may be me again, and tonight, Rick and, I'm sorry, was it you who brought cookies?
No, but
Oh, you were, yeah.
very good.
Cookies, and Rick brought some stuff, and Christine brought some stuff, and I brought some stuff, and we got stuff. Eat. But I'm going to let Kelly Wakefield of the Mesa Community College come up and start introducing her speakers and tell you a little bit about them and herself and the Mesa Community College Geology, and
Okay.
whatever else she wants to say.
Oh, that's dangerous. Okay, go one way around here. All right. Thank you, folks, for having us. I have been a speaker for the club before. I don't know if you remember my amazing volcano talk. And if not, it is on the YouTube page. No. So like Bob said, I teach at Mesa Community College. I'm one of the geology faculty. I'm also the faculty advisor for the Geology Club, which is a great group of students. We do lots of fun things. So the group today is an honors class. So these are all students who are in our honors program at MCC, which means they get a scholarship, but there's a lot of responsibility that comes along with it. They have to keep their grades up. They have to perform a co-curricular. You've got to go to they have to go to events and do stuff every couple times a semester, as well as taking honors classes that are set up to be a little bit higher level for them, a little bit more critical thinking. We expect more out of them. So this is our best and brightest, except Connor.
Yeah, you didn't say that. No.
So they're all in a course I teach called Geologic Disasters in the Environment. So it's all about geologic hazards. It's one of my favorite classes. It is all death and destruction all the time. But we do a lot of talking about the geology and the science behind why geologic hazards happen. We talk a lot about the effects it has on, not just the land and the ground, but also the people that are there. And we talk a lot about mitigation. What can we do to make these better? And part of their whole project that they're working on all semester is the first week of class, I send them shopping for a house on Zillow. I don't tell them what they're doing with it. But then they have spent all semester, every time we talk about a new hazard, they try to figure out how safe their house they picked is. When they pick something in Kansas, it's usually pretty good, but I know there's always somebody somewhere along the West Coast that has a whole lot more fun stuff to do. So, so we were talking, and I was like, hey, we're going to do this. What do y'all want to do? And they decided we're going to talk about earthquakes in Arizona. So we're going to give you a little overview of earthquakes, a little history, and a little science as well. They've got all their stuff, but if they look confused at any point, it's because I was messing with the slides on them already today. Switching them around. So I'm going to introduce for you. I had them write down something I can tell you about them. So Gabriella is a freshman from Gilbert and wants to work with animals. And I have been lucky enough to teach quite a bit of her family along the way. Cassandra is from California and she likes dogs. Just dogs. All right. Lexi over here says she enjoys watching dinosaur videos. Lexi's also been helping me here at the museum too. I volunteered to create the catalog of the collection here at the museum. So I've been working on that as we go, and Lexi's been up here helping me do it. So, and you see little white blobs on rocks. It's totally her. She's doing great. Emma is a native to Arizona and is super cool. It says so. And Connor is from Michigan and is a business major. And the one not going to be talking back there, but is along for the ride and for the fun, this is Eldon. He is our Geology Club president. So he came along just a little bit there. We have one more, Jocelyn, who is not here, but she has contributed though, so you'll see her part.
Can I interject just a moment?
Oh, yes.
It won't do you any good. I was a biology major who worked at the kennel and veterinary office.
Alrighty, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay.
We get up there together, we do an individual? All
Huh?
together.
Okay, all go. Set the rock in carefully.
Yeah, so we don't need to be on the same side.
Taking turns babysitting. Okay.
All right, you ready? Alrighty, so what is an earthquake? An earthquake is what happens when two blocks of earth suddenly slip past one another, creating a shaking movement. Oh, the video
There
cannot
was a
be
great
loaded.
video there. It's apparently not loading.
Are you gonna need a hotspot, do you think?
Huh?
You want a hotspot? A hotspot, so we can load the video. No, just keep going, okay. Alrighty, so here we have a little bit of a demonstration or a graph, right? So this right here is what we call the fault. The fault is usually what will start to make the earthquake occur. This is what we call the hypocenter. This is actually the part underground where the earthquake occurs. This is called the epicenter, and this is where on the surface that it occurs. And then we have S waves and P waves. They actually leave at the same rate, but the S waves are a little bit slower than the P waves. And then
Sorry, I'm gonna do this the annoying way, but it's a great video. Oh no! Apparently I'm having technical troubles. I'm sorry. Seismic events, earthquakes. Come on, you can do it. Here we go.
Body waves from distant earthquakes travel currently.
Oh, there we go.
From below. The crescent moon.
Okay, you ready?
yeah.
There it goes.
Distant earthquakes travel a current path through the horizon seismic station.
You can talk.
Right there. So what this will demonstrate here in a second is pretty much how the waves are moving through. So we have the P and the S waves that are actually, will go through the core and the mantle of the planet itself. And then we have other waves that are called surface waves. Now the surface waves are the ones that you'll actually feel. And then the P and the S waves you potentially could feel, but the chances of you feeling them are not too high. Alrighty, so there's two different things when recording an earthquake. One is magnitude and the other is intensity. So magnitude is the amount of energy released from the earthquake. And so here we have a little bit of a diagram. So if you were to have like a 10 magnitude earthquake, it'd be equivalent to 56 trillion pounds or kilograms of explosives. So that'd be obviously a very detrimental earthquake. And then over here we have an actual seismogram or a seismograph. And as you can see here, we have the P waves, the S waves. And typically, so if you want to figure out how far away the earthquake is, you'll actually take the S waves minus the P waves, and that will give you the distance, or I guess the location of the earthquake, how far it is. And then this pretty much represents, the amplitude of this will represent the magnitude. Yeah. And then this right here are the largest earthquakes recorded in history. So we have some in Alaska, we have some in Chile, Japan, and also Indonesia. And as you can see, the average, or at least the lowest magnitude, is a 9.0. And then back to the two different ways that we kind of record earthquakes, magnitude and intensity. Intensity, realistically, all it is just what is felt. So we have a level 1, which is where if a magnitude 1 earthquake would occur, you wouldn't feel anything. And then a magnitude 5 is where you will start to feel it, so felt by nearby, anyone nearby, and you may be awakened during if you were asleep. Dishes may fall, windows may break, et cetera, et cetera. And then if we go down to the most extreme, a magnitude 10, you'll start to see some buildings that are completely leveled or collapse. And the death toll may be a little bit higher with magnitude 10. Just depends on how prepared people are. And then here we just kind of have two different before and afters. Now these aren't obviously earthquakes in Arizona, but it's a good comparison to kind of give you guys an illustration. So this is an earthquake that hit Italy in 2016. And I believe that was a 7.2 magnitude, and as you can see, there's a before and an after. And then in Nepal in 2015, there was a 7.8 magnitude. And as you can see, I mean, it just can completely level out buildings or temples, whatever it may be. And these are all earthquakes that we have all been alive for, which is pretty interesting. Oh, sorry, I forgot this one's mine too. Alrighty, so here we have two different maps. This one is of Arizona, and so what this represents is just where the areas that are more prone to earthquakes are located. So you'll see it more in Flagstaff and Yuma, and the larger the circle means the greater the magnitude was. And then here, these blue lines are actually more recent fault lines, so these are the newer ones. And then over here, we actually have a map of the nation, and it's kind of hard to see over here, but as it gets more red, that's actually where greater magnitude earthquakes are more common. And the reason why they're more common over on that far west side is due to the subduction zone and the San Andreas Fault. And then there's one more, and I kind of forgot it, to be honest with you. So I have to look at Kelly. New Madrid. But yeah.
Let me find the video, sorry. Sorry y'all, I know this is awesome to get to watch me play around here. No. Okay, well the next part I'll fill in for is Jocelyn, who couldn't be here today because she is a theater major and she had a dress rehearsal today for something she's doing. But for her, she was going through and talking about the kind of some of the major faults here in Arizona and the ones that are kind of the potentially largest earthquakes. So for northern Arizona, some of the most active ones that are the potentially highest magnitudes, you're looking in the order of like a 6.5 to a 7.5, includes the Hurricane Fault. And that one causes lots of earthquakes even now. There's the Big Chino Fault closer to Prescott, and the Lake Mary Fault that runs right through Flagstaff, and that has a pretty high risk. And there is, over there by Yuma, the Algodones Fault, and the Santa Rita Fault, and the Safford Fault. So these are the ones that kind of have the highest potential of having larger magnitude earthquakes here in Arizona.
So ground motion is the movement of surfaces of the earth. It generates sudden slips of movement and travels through Earth's surface. Areas such as Yuma and Flagstaff are the ones that move the most because they're sitting near the faults, as well as they're sitting, well, Yuma specifically is sitting by the Colorado River. So it usually has more impact. Don't worry, Pinal, you guys are perfectly fine. You're probably like one of the least likely places in Arizona to get an earthquake. So that's a nice thought. This map shows 2009 when the Gulf of California had an earthquake, and these are the impacted areas. And Yuma got hit the most since it's on the corner and on a fault, and then everything else kind of felt it afterwards. You can go to the next one. A study was published, made this year, on Yuma, as well as, was Yuma and somewhere else?
Flagstaff.
Oh, thank you, Flagstaff. And it was by Ben Horer and Mike Conway. I don't know if Mr. Mike is here. But it was talking about how the Colorado River sits and it has red potential, which causes shaking, and it identifies Manasori and common brick, which is unreinforced. And this is dangerous, specifically in areas like Yuma, because the brick is just showing. You can go to the next slide. The brick is only for show. It's not actually reinforced in the buildings. So when the buildings collapse, it's really just bricks toppling over on people and items, and the reinforced place is falling down. An example of this is a place in Yuma, and it is called Arizona, what is it called? Adventure. Okay, I don't remember what it's called, but I promise I have it written down. But it's a preschool in Yuma, and it is literally this. It's brick on the outside, but it's not reinforced on the inside. So if the children were inside of it, all of them would be extremely injured, and the place would probably collapse on them. So save the children in Yuma, please. You can go to the next slide. And then,
This is one I stuck in on you.
this is NAU, and this campus still exists. Have they done any work on the campus?
So
Probably not.
the paper also identified places in Yuma, and it also identified places in Flagstaff that are built from unreinforced masonry, and particularly we're looking at older structures. And for Flagstaff, you can see that 65% of buildings that were made before 1975 are made with unreinforced masonry, which is a pretty nasty kind of building method. If you're in an earthquake-prone area, one of the buildings they specifically identified in the paper was Old Main. Haven't gone to NAU, but it's a pretty notable building there. It was built in 1894, and that picture's from 1894. It's the original building there. I learned a lot about the history of it today. And the bottom picture is a more recent picture. It is still used today. It's lots of offices, there's museums, and art galleries there as well. So that is in particular one of the buildings identified as being at risk for collapse in the event of a moderate even earthquake for Flagstaff.
And then if you, for a mitigation plan for things that you want to do in order for your structures to survive, if you decide that you still want to be in Flagstaff for whatever reason, or Yuma, then a great idea would to be reinforce your buildings with flexible materials like bamboo, or to use steel when you're making the building, and underneath your buildings, put a flexible structure so that if the building does start to tilt, it adjusts back when the earthquake ends. And then these are just examples of that. And don't use bricks just for show. That would help too.
Okay, come over here.
So I just wanted to talk a little bit about the hazards that are associated with earthquakes, because I think when we hear the term, the only thing we're thinking of is the ground shaking and rupture, and as long as we get through that, we're fine. But it can actually cause liquefaction and landslides, especially in Arizona, because we're not too likely to get a tsunami. This image is from Palu, Indonesia, from an earthquake they had in 2018. And this is kind of showing what liquefaction means. So actually, if we go to the next slide, I'll explain how this happens. So liquefaction, the Geological Survey states, liquefaction takes place when loosely packed waterlogged sediments at or near the ground surface lose their strength in response to strong ground shaking, such as an earthquake. Some examples of this. This is Niigata, Japan, from an earthquake they had in 1964. And you can see that the whole buildings have fallen into the ground because of the way the ground, it basically behaves like a liquid when it shakes that much when it's waterlogged. And the next slide will show that in a second. You can actually go back, I'll show the other two. This is Christchurch, New Zealand from 2011, their earthquake. And this is Canterbury in 2018. Okay, so this is just illustrating how liquefaction works. So the loosely packed grains of soil are held together by friction, and there's water in those spaces between the particles. And when the earth shakes that much, the spaces between the particles gets bigger and the water can get into those parts. And it just makes the ground behave like a liquid and things can sink into it, which is what you see here. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, there was a video here of a man jumping on some ground, but do we need that? Is there any way to pull that up? We don't need it. If not.
Of course we do. Where did I hide the liquefaction? It's in the downloads. Okay, come on, you can do it. I believe in you. I believe in you, little computers. Oh, here it is.
Okay, so this is kind of showing liquefaction on a smaller scale. Because he's moving the ground the way that he was a second ago, the ground is behaving kind of like quicksand and it's just losing that solidness. And when an earthquake stops, the ground solidifies again. So that image that we saw with the car in the ground, that ground around it isn't like liquid anymore. So it just looks like things have sunk into the ground. Okay. I believe you added this
I did.
slide. I believe this is places in Arizona that have experienced liquefaction, and you'll see that it's especially places like Lexi said along the Colorado River are at increased risk of that because of how much water is in their ground. Okay, next slide please. Perfect. Another hazard that you'll see with earthquakes is landslides, which is pretty much what it sounds like. It's when land, just a chunk of land falls off and slides down a slope or a mountain. These that you see here, these pictures are not actually caused by earthquakes, but these are examples of landslides that have happened in Arizona. This is a chart of different types of landslides that we all see in Arizona. And the Arizona Geological Survey actually says landslides rival floods as the deadliest and costliest natural hazard in Arizona. Okay, perfect. This image is a landslide that happened in Fossil Creek, I believe, and this one is from Phoenix. And the map that you see on the left is just a chart showing places in Arizona that experience landslides. Okay, perfect. And then some of those factors that can make landslides and liquefaction worse, I kind of mentioned water. When you're by a river or a lake and your ground has that more water in it, it's got a higher risk for liquefaction. If you're by very steep slopes, you're at increased risk for landslides, that coming down on you. And then underlying geology. So what that means is that the ground that you build on, if it's either very waterlogged, that's a risk, or if it's very brittle, it's going to be at risk for landslides and for the ground rupture that we talked about. And yeah, that's it.
Alright, so earthquakes in Arizona. So the oldest one was in 1776. It was in Yuma, and it was the first, and it was in April 25th. Okay, and the second one is 1887 in
Cochise County.
Cochise County, and on May 3rd. And the third one is 1906 in Flagstaff on January 25th, and the most recent one is near Franklin, Arizona on November 2nd. Okay, the first one I'm talking about is the 1987 Sonoran earthquake as a magnitude of 7.3, and the epicenter is near the Arizona-Mexico border, and it killed 60 people, and liquefaction also occurred. And this is in Mexico. I know it's in Arizona, Mexico area, and that's where it happened, the epicenter, and that's the destruction of what happened. And Pitakachi fault start also happened during the Sonoran earthquake, and of course it was near the Arizona-Mexico border, and it was 76 kilometers long. And it happened like where the San Benito Valley was, and how much it moved was 4.5 to 5.1 meters. This was the ground when it was flat, and that guy over there, his name is John Summers, and he's standing next to the scarp, the cliff that happened. Yeah. Okay, so what Connor said earlier about intensity, it started at Santa Fe, right there, and then it also happened it's on the very, very bottom in New Mexico. It's kind of cut off. New Mexico City. And the other one, the most recent one, is 2014 Duncan earthquake swarm, and it is a magnitude 5.3, and the epicenter was located 7 kilometers, 4.4 miles below the surface, and it caused moderate damage. That's a new picture.
I know I added it.
Okay. Those are seismic waves.
That's where it was recorded.
That's
by
where it was
the Arizona Integrated Seismic Network.
Yes. Okay, now we're going to talk about the 1906, 1910, and 1912 earthquake. And these are all shaking maps, but we're going to talk about the strongest one, which is the 1910 earthquake, which has an intensity of 8. Oh yeah, what's where the intensity is, and when you see it on the intensity chart, it's, can't even read that. It is damage, slight, and specific. It's in the, of course, the orange area, reddish area, and it is designed, structured, considered damage in buildings and buildings.
Okay, so my part of the presentation was what you should do should an earthquake occur. Included some fun graphics. Okay, so first and foremost, do what works for you. Drop, cover, and hold on is basically what you should take away from this, but not everyone is physically able to drop. So for example, if you're in a chair or just can't get on the ground, they recommend you put your chair in lock and find something that you can cover your head with. even if you're able to get under something, still grab something to protect your melon. It never hurts. So whether inside or outside, you should stay where you are. If you're inside, drop cover, hold on. Move away from glass and shelves like windows, bookshelves. Just find an open area in the house, probably under the dining room table, and wait for a notice from local authorities. This is going to look something like an Amber Alert. If you're outside, stay outside. Now this next point kind of goes against the whole stay where you are thing, but you do not want to be next to a building. Things are going to be shaking and sediments are getting looser and things are going to drop off the side of buildings. So try to move away from the buildings if you can, and do not move quickly because again, things are shaking, you're probably going to injure yourself. And then try your best to go to an open area. Can't I just run away? No. A little graphic, yeah, thank you for adding that. There's another one. That's basically showing you the most extreme situation, like why you could not run away. A lot's going on. It's best to remain where you are. Attempting to run could result in further injury. Like I said before, things are shaking, don't move fast, probably gonna break your ankle. Arizona infrastructure was not designed to counter against earthquakes. We do have regulations about how to build things now, but those were not implemented until the 70s, and a lot of our infrastructure was built before the 70s. So I wouldn't recommend getting on the freeway during an intense earthquake. The area affected is also going to be large, so getting away sounds like a good idea, but the earthquake is happening probably all over the county, so it's probably happening on the freeway as well, so you probably just, best bet is to stay where you are.
Okay, that's mine. All right, thanks y'all. So if you want any more information, it may not come up very well here because I'm missing a little bit, but all you gotta do is aim your phone's camera at it, and it'll recognize its QR code, and it'll take you to a document that I put together to share in case you want any more information about earthquakes in Arizona. Looks like this. So what I ended up doing is giving you a lot of the links and information that all the students were using to look up some stuff. My favorite place to look for earthquakes, Iris, has a browser and they pop up really nice. I've linked to the USGS Earthquakes Hazard Program, one of my favorites, the Shake Alert. This is not for here in Arizona, but it is for the entire west coast of the United States. So if you're in California, you'll actually get like a notice on your phone and it'll be like, hey, there's an earthquake coming. And then everything will start shaking. It's amazing. It's a pretty new piece of technology, and I think it's going to be really, really important moving forward for the entire West Coast, and lots from the Arizona Geologic Survey, because they are the ones that know it. Lexi mentioned a paper that has been published just this year, and if you've been around come into meetings, Mike Conway is the lead author on this. He did a talk about resources for the group. He did a talk about resources from the Geologic Survey, and these just got published this year. They were really fascinating to read, to see what's in Flagstaff and Yuma and Prescott, since those are some kind of hotbeds for seismic activity. And then I gave you lots of other kind of fun links and good stuff that you can check out about some Arizona earthquakes. Okay. Thank you.
So I have a comment to add.
Yay.
I'm from Olympia, Washington.
Oh.
And we had one, I don't know how many years ago now, and I was working 12-hour night shift, so I was home sleeping and did not know that anything had happened. The dogs didn't wake up or anything. But where we were in the marina, the pilings were jumping up and down, and cars were hopping in the parking lot. So like you said, beware of your surroundings. Cell phones did not work at all. People were trying to, and it was just, everything was down. So just an FYI, when it happens, everything out of the ordinary is going to happen. Yes, we had bricks fall off the front of the hospital. We had cracks in the wall. I mean, it was built to withstand. But again, the facade came off.
and that's why you don't run outside. And it seems like everybody's like very first, instinct is the building shaking up or running outside.
You don't want to be under the rubble, yeah, but that didn't happen. We just had cracks and we had the facade fall off, yeah.
Now's your time to quiz them.
Remember, I'm not the smartest one, so don't quiz me.
All right.
All right, thank you very much.
Oh, we have a gift for the museum. I come bearing gifts.
Oh my goodness.
Can we get some light? Okay, where's
Oh,
the
I'm sorry.
Yeah. Ah, I come bearing gifts.
Oh,
Because my favorite things in life are rocks and giving people rocks. And then dinosaurs,
All right.
they're somewhere. But I got lucky and somebody ended up giving us a whole lot of rocks and mineral samples. People give me rocks all the time. And since it's usually my job is to kind of go through them and decide what goes where and how we use them. I got actually a really nice sample that we wanted to, as a department, gift to the museum. I've had them taking care of this as best as we can. But I think it'll be a nice addition to the museum pieces. Ah! This is a wolfenite sample from the glove mine.
this
So, like there's a whole case of wolfenites. We can go with it.
have you cataloged it yet?
No, it'll be added. Oh.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna put this up here so you can come look at it as you wish.
And if you wanna, these guys, their jobs was to protect this thing the whole ride. It was like, and y'all
Okay.
can, I was gonna say, I don't know if all of y'all have seen it even.
I am from the San Francisco Bay Area. My last house was 5 miles from the epicenter of the 1906 San Francisco earthquake. 5 miles. And it was 3 miles offshore. So I have heard all of that. Since I was in kindergarten, we've learned how to drop and roll under the tables and all that. It was fun to hear that. We knew about liquefaction. During the 1989 Loma Prieta earthquake near Santa Cruz that broke the Bay Bridge, among other things, it was a big earthquake. I can't remember the magnitude, but I was living 400 miles away down the coast in San Luis Obispo. I didn't feel it. I was in a 2-story cement building, and it hit at the exact moment that classes were out. I was going to college, and I hit and so everybody in the building was walking around and stamping. My roommate a mile away was woken up from her nap, 400 miles away. So you can't run outside. The other roommate lived in Santa Cruz. Her mom came home after leaving work where the front fell off because it was a brick facade, as you said. She walked home, she put her key in the front door, and it wouldn't turn. And then she looked down and noticed that from the top step to her door, there was a 1-foot gap. The whole house had moved off its foundation. So yeah, it's so nice living in southern Arizona. We only get the monsoon. Dust storm. Okay, we have a couple of things to go over. First, eat. Second, we have a door prize. We have 6 lovely door prizes up here. Not the wolfenite. All right, but could I get you to draw the first number out? All right, get your tickets. Pink tickets only this week. This one ends in 111. 111.
Is it 4111?
4111.
Okay.
Terrific.
Yeah.
She hasn't been here for a while.
I know.
So pick your, it's a tough choice, this one.
Yes,
What?
I took the fossil coral.
Fossil coral, all
No,
right.
the basic, yes.
All right, can I get you a drink, a little note to drink another one?
Oh, you still got
Let's
two.
do- Okay, great, thank you. 4115. 115. Great. You can pick any of the 5 remaining.
On my ticket? We'll put that in there?
Yeah. Can I get you a draw?
Oh, yeah.
Next person?
Gee, it's not that easy. There we go. Two.
All right. Well, that's cheating. 4116. That's not cheating. All right, pick your prize. Oh, draw. You get the draw.
Bingo.
Thank you. 4118.
Oh, that's right.
Oh,
Oh, wait. Maybe I just read it.
oh,
Yeah, yours.
118.
Right.
Oh, no, 118.
Oh, 4118.
So close.
Oh, okay. Great, what'd you get?
How do you say that?
Pyrolusite,
Pyrolusite
quartz, and something else from India. All right, pick another one, please. It can't be 4118.
Dang.
All right, 4114.
Oh.
Ah. Go. All right.
One more.
One more, this is the last one. All right. We will go with 4113.
She's beat me at cribbage so many times. She's
Thank you.
Nice.
All right. So the fun has only just begun. We're done with our speaker. We're done with our door prize. We're done with me talking mostly. Now you get to play with our silent auction, eat, drink, and be merry. December 21st, same bat channel, same rock channel, same rock place, same rock time for Dr. McCoy. Thank you very much for coming. We will see you in a month, I hope. And watch for the newsletter coming out soon. If you're not signed up, go to the website and subscribe. That way you get information on upcoming events. And anything else I need to send out? Thank you.
Thank you. Can we sign up tonight, or is that
Sure. Let's see. If Christine can take your name and email address, I can sign up for the newsletter. Or if you want to become a member. Okay, if you want to become a member, then I'm not sure where the membership forms.
So how long is the membership? Because I'm just sending in. And I get
you have a membership?
I